Right, I think we're ready. So today I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing for the last week. Been really trying to get this multiplayer stuff put together so that I can eventually start doing graphics work and making it look good. I had to get all the login system, character creation. I had to fix some uh, databasing stuff. It was a lot of work, so I'm going to go through it and I'm going to show you guys what I did, what I'm going to change, what I learned along the way, what worked but isn't right. So we're going to try to fix some of that stuff today and possibly get to uh, class setup. So when you choose a class, it's going to pick a certain set of gear to equip you with. So if I can get to that point by the end of today, I'll be happy. So let's get into this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to kind of explain the MMO that I'm making as short as possible so you can get an idea of where this is headed. Kind of explain why all these other MMO devs are failing. They claim to be making multiplayer games and never produce anything of any value. You have these women out here that are propping up these developers that can't get anything done. It's basically become a shit show. The whole gaming industry is a shit show. And it's all because of these women that decide to prop up these men that can't do anything. Instead of propping up the real men that can actually get stuff done. But that's another story. So we're going to get into how this all works. So I was able to set up zone servers. So we're going to have a few things here. So this is the base project right here, right? When I compile, I use packages. I set up in source code a server target and a client target. So those are the only two we will compile with. And that basically strips out all the debugging, which makes things more difficult for me, but it compiles everything into a smaller package. So I just keep using that instead of using debugging, which makes it more difficult because you don't get print strings that I can print out values and stuff like that. So I can debug errors. But I implemented a text file where I can write and read from a text file, and I just output everything to that for debugging, which has worked very well. So you see how we set different targets for server and client, and we use this Windows 64. Now, when I go to launch this game in December, it will be compiled with Linux. So I will make a target client that is Windows based, but the server will be built for Linux. Because I'm on a Windows machine, that is why I compile right now for Windows server build. And I have both a Windows server that I can run, and I have a Linux server I can run. So because we're on a Windows machine in testing, I'm going to use the Windows version. So if you look here, when I use the file to compile, I have it set to put it in this folder. So when I compile for client, it makes this folder, and when I compile for server, it makes this folder. Now what I do is I copy this server and I paste it here and put a 2 next to it, and you'll see why in a second. So these are going to be my zone servers. So I could copy this and I could paste it again. And I could rename this to whatever I want. So I could rename it to 3. So these would be 3 separate servers, meaning that I could run, like you have virtual private servers, VPS, where you can host your game once it's done, dedicated, not a listen server where users can host, but a place where everybody's going to connect to. The benefits of dedicated server is that you're definitely in control of all the data. So when characters are saved, they are saved to your database. They're not saved on the client or the server that somebody's hosting at home or whatnot. I use AWS Dynamic or DynamoDB to store that information. I use AppSync with GraphQL to edit the DynamoDB, create tables, mutate tables, delete tables, or just to query data from the tables. So I'm going to delete this. So the first 2 I'm starting with is this is going to be the game server, which I can split up all the maps into different virtual private servers if I want to. That is going to help with server load. So if you have like a town with surrounding maps, that will be on one server, and that computer will handle all that. And if you have another town, those will be hosted on a different server. So it splits up the game into a bunch of different computers, and the characters, when they transfer to certain maps, it will switch them from one computer over to the other. So the way I set this up is you will have a lobby IP and you'll have a game IP. And the game IP will store all the different zone servers that you'll connect to. So the lobby is going to be one server and this is going to be one server. And they can have different IPs so you can transfer in between the different servers. Now I might I might get rid of this one and only have the lobby IP. That way your client will connect to the lobby and then the lobby will send, you know, your list of IPs. Regardless, the client's going to have access to the IPs to be able to connect to every server. So the token, that is what you receive when you log in. So when you use your username and password, it authenticates with Cognito on AWS. It sends a token back to the client. The client saves that token. The token is stored on your character table. So when you created an account for the first time, it makes a table, and it makes a key to where it's going to store your token each time you log in. That way, when you switch maps and you change servers, it just takes what's in this text file and compares it to what is on the server, and if those match, it allows you to pull your character's data from the server. If those don't match, then you haven't been authenticated and you will be disconnected. So that's login security, and that's the IPs to switch to different virtual private servers. So to show you how this works, that is where the files that you get from compiling from here go, right? Client and server. What this other one is, this is the actual DSS Lite server. So this is what your characters connect to. This spins up these servers. So this application is what's going to use this file to load every map that a player can go to. So you have the Linux version is what when I deploy the game, when it launches, I'll be using this one, but because we're hosting on a Windows machine, localhost, just to test everything and make sure it all works, we're going to be using these two. So I will need to make one of these folders and label them based on what zones they are. So like this handles the lobby. Right now this one handles every map for the game, but this can be split up into different sections of the game. And if you see, all it is this. This is just all the maps. But I used this one to kind of restrict how many maps load up. So if you look here, this one's for the lobby. I'll click on it. So I can define which maps load for the lobby. So I define this one, and I define this one, which I might eventually condense it down to just one map, which that map will be the character creation map. So where you make characters and delete characters and stuff like that. But right now I have it set up to where it goes to this map and then forwards you to this map, which is the map for character creation. But I might switch it to just being this one eventually. So now that I showed you that, this is the one for the game, which I think I just have one map for now. This will be the map that you start in right here. So once you made your character, click next. This is the map that it'll take you to. And you can see that they're using different ports. So each VPS will just use a different port most likely. Or I can close the connection and possibly use the same port. But either way, right now I'm using separate ports for each server, each VPS. So now that I showed you all of that, let's see how this works. So I'm going to click here. And I'm going to load everything up. Let me make sure this is the lobby. So I'm going to make sure there's no like sensitive information on it. Because when I do log in, it does debug and send output that I don't want you to see. But it's just a local host IP. Shows what port the map was on, set up on. And it shows you like how much time it took for the map to load up. So these maps load up really fast because there's not much in them. But you see like just to bring this level up took that amount of time, which is nothing. So it loads really fast for what it is. So like if a map gets too full and I set up like channels, so like you'll have like say town 1 and then town 1 gets too full, too many people in it, I could set up channel 2 so that you could move in between channels. That way people, can get a feel for the game. If there's like thousands of players on just one town, it could start to get laggy. I think the way my game's set up, though, it shouldn't be an issue. But people get a feel for that, and they might spread out to help the server load so that it doesn't get too cluttered, because in towns you're going to have people setting up shops. So as you walk around, you're going to be looking through shops to buy different things from other players. So people that don't like a cluttered map where they don't get much exposure can move to another channel that has possibly less people, and then they might get more exposure. People will look at their shop. And what I've noticed from the other game that I played that I'm modeling this from is people like to set up their shop in the same spot. So if they find a spot that nobody's using, they'll normally go there, and you can always expect them to be there. So like if they're selling like arrows or something like that, you'll get accustomed to going to channel 2 to find that specific person's Ven shop and buy the arrows from them because you're used to it. You become accustomed to it. So this is one of the maps, and this is the other one, and you can see right here, creating AI system for world map lobby. So this is map lobby, the other one was map lobby 2. So that's showing you one of the servers. So I used this to boot it up. I can go here and load this one, and this one will load the actual game server that you'll actually play the game in. The other one was just the lobby. So before everything. So yeah, it took a little bit longer to load up, but still wait a tenth of a second pretty much. Look, engine initial, so 1.15 seconds. So now that we got both servers up, let's try to test it and see what I got so far. So now that both servers are running, we can go back here and we can click on client and we can load up the game. So what we'll do for now is we'll put one client there. And we'll put the next client here. So the login screen has sign up. It has forgot password. So basically when you sign up, it's going to send something to your email and you'll fill all this stuff out and whatnot and register. Got it? If you forget your password, you put in your email or username, you send code, it will give you a code after you click send code, and then you'll input the code that your email is sent so you can reset your password. So I already made 2 accounts to show you guys this. So I'll log into my first account. Alright, so I'm gonna check the server. And it says that I already have one character, but that character didn't show up. So that's what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna try to get that working perfectly because we can't have characters that aren't gonna show up. Now, let me check the output because maybe there's some output that will tell me why. Okay. So the reason why is definitely because of the query that was sent. So I have I have error codes that I can go through to debug that, and we'll fix that. But let's try this, see if it works. You know what? Let me look. So it tried to get slot names. And it couldn't get the slot names, that's why it didn't load it. So here, let me delete all these from the database, and we'll try again. I'm going to reopen another client. So this would be equivalent to first time logging in right here, because there's no tables in the database for this username. Okay, so it still tried to load the list and couldn't. Let me try to create a character. And I'll just say Matt. Oh, okay. So I know what the issue is. The API key, the AP, the API key changed, and those were compiled before I changed the API key. So I've already gone in here and changed everything. So what you're going to see me do is how fast it compiles so that we can get this working. So I'm going to shut down the servers. The API keys that I'm using last a week. So every week I have to update them, and I had to update them today. So we're going to go here. We're going to do server, and we're going to hit compile. It's going to overwrite this one right here. We're going to go in here, and we're going to delete this one. So once this is done, I'm just going to copy that and add a 2 next to it. So each time I have to recompile, it's only, right now, it's only taking a minute. It's really fast. So that I go here, I go to package project, I go to target, and I just hit client. I go back here, and then I compile that. And it's just going to overwrite the client folder now. So now that I've already done the server, all I do is copy it, paste it, rename it. And now that those are done, I can go here while this one's doing its thing, and I can just click on here and load up the servers real quick. That way they're ready for when the client is done. So both servers are up already before this one's even done compiling. Now that it's done, I just click here. So that's pretty much how much time it takes in between changes. So as I develop the game, that's the process of it getting back to a multiplayer testing build, which is under like 5 minutes, which is not bad right now. I'm sure once I get all 55 maps done, it'll take a little bit more time to compile, not much more. So we'll log in here. All right, let me check the tables. I created the table, so our keys are good now. Good stuff. All right, so we got both clients logged in for the first time. It created both their tables. So now we're going to create another character. So we'll do this one, Matt. It created the table for Matt. We'll do this one, Evil. And change class, all that stuff. We want to. I'll do like mage or whatever for this one. So you see this one's warrior level 1, mage level 1, all that stuff. And it tells you what map that it'll load. So all we have to do is click here and then hit next. And it says down here, it says Matt joined the session. We'll go here. It said Evil joined the session. So to show you everything working, on this one, I'm going to keep this one the same, but I'll probably add some attributes and stuff. So this one, I'm going to equip this. I'm going to equip that, so you see that they're different, right? I'm going to go over on this guy, and I'm going to accept a quest. All right. So if you go to my quest log, you see that this one has the red beast, right? This one just has the one that you start with, which I think it's just because that's the save file I'm using. You'll probably have no quests when you first enter. But you see that this has different quests. We're going to go over here. You're going to see this has all located 7, right? Let's just put the 7 points into endurance. We got 12 endurance, right? go to this one and we'll put 7 into strength, so you got 30 strength. Right? You hit K, you'll see this is the skill tree. So we'll hit K over here. We're gonna like span out here somewhere. So it looks like even though I picked mage, right, the save file that I'm using to test all this with was warrior. So that's why these skill trees are not different. It's because that's something we need to fix probably today, is just updating what class you are, and then these will be different skill trees. But right now I have everybody using the default save file that I was originally working with, so we'll get into that after I'm done going through all this with you guys. So anyways, let's click here, apply, and on this one we'll click here. Well, wherever we can go next, if we can. We'll go this way. Alright, so this one went this way, this one went down. Alright, so you see like inventory's different. You can drop something, right? So let me save on here. So that's all been saved. The quest has been saved. I see the output. Output looks good on the server. Save. Alright, so now I can exit the game. Right? Can go back here, load up 2 more clients. You see it retained the character list. Right? So click here, go next. Alright, so let's check to make sure that it saved everything okay. We go here, I'm missing the potion. I equipped the shield. I have 30 strength. I have 12 endurance. the quest retained, the quest that I picked up, the skill that I got was restored. Skill that I got was restored. So everything except for party and guild are saving correctly. So that's what I'm currently working on. After I get today, I'm gonna just do the class setup so that everybody gets their correct, their correct skill tree, their correct starting equipment, all that stuff. But there you go. That's how multiplayer is done. Don't just pretend to make multiplayer games. And like a multiplayer game is literally not a listen server where players can host. If a player is hosting a game session, that is not multiplayer. That's just stupidity. Okay, if you're gonna make games that are just to be stupid, just don't make games. If you're gonna make a multiplayer game, make a multiplayer game where everybody can interact. That's the problem with a lot of these devs that I've been running into is they like their little safe space video games, where they can, get their little cult and bring them in and only play with a certain group. Like almost every person that I ran into that plays those type of quote multiplayer games, they ban me from their channel. Because they like their little secluded bubble. If you're going to make a multiplayer game and say that you're making multiplayer games, make a multiplayer game where everybody can interact. I don't care if they come here on my channel and say their stupid stuff. I'm not going to ban them. But I can't go into their little bubble and burst it, and I get banned just for doing a laughing emoji today. It's ridiculous. Grow up. But that's the thing, is none of these game developers on these platforms act like grown-ups. They're all crybabies that cannot make multiplayer games at all. And they like to fake like they can, but they can't. So they're just going to keep being fake every time they hit go live, saying that they're making multiplayer games, but never will. There's certain devs that have been working on the same game for years on end that I've been just sitting around waiting for them to finish it. How long are you going to just kick the bucket down the road because you know that as soon as your game gets released and it goes nowhere, all the attention that you've been just trying to obtain for years on end is going to go bye-bye because you made a crap game that nobody wants to play. Instead, you could have got behind the real men that are making multiplayer games, and you could have helped prop them up. But what do you choose to do? You choose to raid all of these fake devs that have horrible communities. Have you seen the people that are at the top list of some of these dev channels? They are sick individuals. Why would you prop those people up? And I'm tired of you guys saying, "Oh, I don't want to be political." You are the problem for not being political. You are the problem for associating with these people. You are guilty by association. We need women in this industry that prop up men that can get work done. But instead, you want to prop up all the fake people and just ignore all the people that actually can do stuff. I'm really glad that Pirate Software is gone, and I want him to stay gone. I told you guys months back that I did not want that guy in any channel, any category that I'm in. I do not want that guy here. So it is on you guys to make sure that he is not here. But what do? You guys keep your silence. You let the perversion continue. You stay in your little cult, your little bubble. That shit needs to stop. And I'm holding all of you guys accountable for that. Who has been around here for 3 years, going to every single community and vetting the people that run those communities? Me. Not you. And you guys want to just make jokes? It's not funny anymore. You are being held accountable for allowing these people to do this. Because you are in this space and not saying anything. Not me. I've been in every space saying everything for 3 years. Every platform, I've been there. I conquered. I left. So if you guys want to support actual men that know how to make multiplayer games, will actually have a product, you should probably start doing it. You know? Because there's going to be a point where us real men will just walk away. You've ruined the industry. I don't know how many women have resulted from the software community and become cleavage streamers. That is ridiculous. You have no product, you have nothing to sell, so you just want to use your body. It's disgusting. And I looked up to some of these streamers, you know, when I first started. Not no more. I see who they are. I see who they associate with. I see how they manipulate their communities and just perpetuate vileness. There's a few people in this community that are legit. Very few. If you're using any other engine other than Unreal Engine, you should be laughed at every single day of your life. You need to stop what you're doing and you need to download Unreal Engine. You need to uninstall Unity, uninstall Godot, uninstall whatever the heck you're using. It's not going to cut it no more. Every game you make with any other engine is going to be a disgrace. You might get one or two that succeed, if that. But if I'm sitting here for 3 years and see nobody have a successful video game, I need to call that out. You know, when I have the means to do it, and I have the means to make multiple successful games, but I have no support behind me because you're off running around supporting and rating all these other pathetic streamers that want to claim they're doing this or claim they're doing that and never get anything done. The reason why I haven't finished this game, the reason why it took this long, is because I started figuring you guys out. And I don't really want to be a part of it. So, all the streamers that are pushing Steam, I'm not publishing my game on Steam. See, that's what you guys want to do. You guys want to just flock to these platforms and prop them up. Steam is disgusting. Have you seen the games that are allowed on Steam? I don't want my video game anywhere near that platform. If anything, I want Steam shut down for what it has allowed. All you people making these disgusting games need to go. All these streamers that are saying they're doing something and really not doing anything, you guys need to stop what you're doing and get behind somebody that does. And I'm not saying go to a AAA studio. I'm saying look at the environment. Who are the people promoting good things? And who are the ones that are just being fake? And obviously, if you're promoting some other engine other than Unreal Engine, you're fake. I've already seen those people. I've seen the people at Unity. I've seen the people at Godot. Disgusting. And I'm not saying the people at Unreal Engine are any better, but it hasn't been in my face like those other developers. Just vile people surrounding the whole industry. When Unreal Engine comes on, they present themselves well, they say their piece, and they're gone. Things need to change around here. If you want people to make good games, support them. The ones that are making good games or have the ability to. Do not support cults like Pirate Software. That is one of the worst cults in this circle. Who's another one that you guys have been supporting for a very long time that was just streaming, I think, tonight? Code Miko. The girl that claims to be running a sex cult. I've seen it. I have video proof of it. Of recruitments that she does on her stream. Who has raided Komiko? Oh, yeah. That Unity developer. What's her name? I think you can guess it. She's making a survival game. You know? In her little box. Which that dev has raided so many vile people, I lost count. This industry is a joke. And every time any of you release a game, I'm going to be there to shit on it. We got a game that's coming out in 10 days. He's telling the community to support it. He's an indie dev. He's a nice guy. But you don't just be nice to everybody. It's not how the world works. You have to pick a side. You are either on the good side or you're on the bad side where you just want to be good to everybody. You want to be good to the sickest people on this planet. That's a disgrace. This is where you need to be. Right here. Unreal Engine. Nothing more, nothing less. Make this the best engine that will ever be. And throw everything else in the trash because of how you guys have allowed it. Holding no one accountable for their disgustingness. I am sick and tired of devs claiming that they are multiplayer devs and they're nowhere near it. They live in a fantasy with their fantasy friends, with their parasocial relationships, where they can't hurt anybody's feelings. They can't even use, me personally, can't use a laughing emoji. And just because I'm laughing at something funny that somebody says, I get banned too for their comment. That is so disrespectful. I mean, the girl, the Godot girl, her name is I Heart Funny Boys. Yet when somebody that's actually funny laughs at something somebody says that she didn't like, I get banned. And this has happened in multiple communities because I call them out. They don't like their feelings getting hurt. They don't like being called out. It makes their image look bad. Well, then why don't you stop doing what I'm telling you that you're doing? And maybe you wouldn't have to ban me because I wouldn't have to sit there and hold you accountable for your shit dev work where you get nothing done. You just milk a title for 3 years now. 3 years now for a single player game. Get the F out of here. You do not deserve to be here. You don't. The people that deserve to be here are at the bottom of the list. People that are working every day with nobody supporting them, but are making headway. And there's a few of you guys. You guys know who you are. So, back to game dev. We got to get the starter gear and all that worked out, which really all it is a few things disconnected that just need to be reconnected. You know, that's how easy Unreal makes it. We don't have to sit anywhere and stare at your crappy code. Who wants to look at text all day? Some parasocial freak. You know? We want to see stuff get done, not stuff pretend to be done. If you want to teach people how to write code in text form, go make a tutorial on YouTube or something. We don't need you here. That's the thing, is this whole streaming industry has turned into a safe space for cults. Get back in the closet. I don't want to see it no more. Bunch of crybabies, I swear. So, this is save game. We need to go to load game. I think it's in initialize starting items. Alright, here we go. So this is running on the server right here. This is where it loads all the items. Alright, we're gonna move everything over that is good, that we want to keep. We want to keep that. We want to keep that. This. Current save info. It's something we don't use. We use this JSON object right here. So it looks to me like we're gonna have to build out. We're gonna have to build out the JSON object just for starter content. Well, actually, all we have to do is detect that it's a new character. That's the easy way. So first things first, let's see what we're pulling from here. So from the query that we use, we're just pulling the inventory data. Alright, so when we create the character is when we're going to put, if there's a new, there's a, whatchamacallit, if it's new, if it's a new character or not. What we could do is look, let's see what we have here. We have map name and it's set to none. So we could get the map name, and if it's set to none, then we know it's a new account. Because then it's just going to write a map name. Once you're in the game for the first time, every time it saves, you're going to be on a map. So map name could be used as the indicator for a new character. So that's easy. We're going to disconnect this for now, because this was just what I was using to test. But that's what it's going to do, is it's going to load the inventory. Then it's going to load your party information. So that'll be used for when I get back to party stuff. So that's interesting that we can get this here and that it can make the JSON object from this. And the only reason why we can do that is because we're splitting it that way. So let's go here. And we're going to add a new variable. And we're going to say is new character. Right? And we'll leave it as Boolean. So we know that this is going to split based on these to always be able to get the inventory data. But we want to query the map name now. So we got to copy this. Maybe I can hold shift. There we go. All right, I think that's how it's. Yeah, map name, that's how it's spelled. So now we're getting the inventory and we're getting the map name. Now that's going to pose an issue. Not with loading the inventory, that's still perfect the way it is because it's using these delimiters to get that information. So that's fine. The problem is what index is this value going to be on? So we know we're going to use the information that we already know from the controller to figure that out. And you'll see how this works. Because I've already gone through all of this multiple times, so I'm not going to have to reverse engineer what's coming from this data and how to split it to get the value that I need. So you'll see how quick this is now. I mean, the first time I was going through this, it was not quick at all. I had to step through everything. I had to write the queries out on AWS, see how it's formatted, and come up with a system to pull the value for map name. But this is how quick it is now that I have it documented. So we're going to go up here, right? So here, look at the list of stuff we have to pull. It's not just two things, it's a whole list. But since we've already done this, we can look at how this works and we know what index the value is going to be for that. The first one, the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seven. So we have it up to 7. And once you look at the indexes, you'll see how even if we added more, how we would get to those values without too much brain power to figure it out. So this index gets the character name, this index gets the class name. If you look here, character name, class name. So class name is the second one, right? And that's what we're dealing with over here is we have a second one we need to get to. So we already know what order it's going to output. So if we look here, index 9. So how simple this is just copy these two, go back here. All I have to do is paste it here, drag off the data, so the issue is that the value for inventory has all been changed to question marks, right? So that's good. We want to leave it that way. The reason why we want to leave it that way is because if we changed all the question marks back to this, wouldn't split correctly, parentheses or whatever. So that's good. So now what we're going to do is we know that this is going to be none. So if we go equal to, right, and we go back here, because this is what's going to write into the database when a character is created for the first time. Map name, none. So we just copy none, go back here, and do that. So then we plug this into here, right? So if it equals none true, then that means it's a new character. If it's false, that means they've already loaded into the game. When they exit the game, it's going to save their map location. So if their map location is saved, it will know that it's not a new character. So now we can go into here. We can do a branch. Actually, even better, we'll just do this. Promote it to a local variable. All right. So if it's not a new character, it needs to run through all of that. If it is a new character, it needs to do something different here. Now these variables, let's find reference just to make sure. Look at all that. All that needs to be taken out. All of it. If we go back here, load save data, local save data, local save data, local saved info. Look at this. That's how they set it up in the template, but we're removing that from everything. So let's go here. So we are not doing it this way. See how it says local saved character? That will be taken out. This, all of this, because all of this has already been saved and is being retrieved or can be retrieved from the database because it's all saved here. You look, race type, gender type, and that's all being set right here. Class name. So when you create a character, all that information is being saved to the database. The way this is working is it's trying to save it to your game instance, which we're not relying on the game instance because the game instance is client side. So we don't rely on anything that is client side. So the way this template was set up was to utilize the game instance client side, which we do not want that. So that is why this is getting taken out and we're relying on the database instead. So even though this is all hooked up, it's not being used. It is being used for guild and party, but I'm going to work on that after I get all this stuff set up, and all that will be removed from using anything related to save files or like save game objects. It'll purely be working off the database instead. So like I could disconnect that if I wanted to. Because by the time it gets passed on to here, it is used here. And it is used for this. See? So all of these need to be pulled from the database. So like we did map name, we need to do the same thing for these right here. So we'll do that now. And you see these are enums, so we need to do selects on them. So what we're going to do, so we're going to disconnect all of these. We're going to move this down. Move this down. Right? See, we could have done -1 or something instead of map name to determine if it was a new character, but I have something else in plan for the unique ID per character on the server. So we're gonna say take out because this is getting removed. But we need to focus on these variables right now. We have the is new character set up right here. But now we need to do these right here. So let's move this over here. And now we can move these back over here. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a select. So I'm going to see if I already have the selects. I think I already do. That way I don't have to redo it over again. Yep, I got them all three right here. Alright, so we got the class, we got the race, and we got the gender, right? So now what we need to do is fill out these indexes. So we'll make 3, 1, 2, 3, and we'll do class, index, race, index, and gender, index. Now we need to make them all integers. So we'll go integer integer, integer. All right. So now that we have that set up, we go back to here and we need to add those here. So if I have shift enter, 1, 2, 3, I go here. I think we can copy like that. So if I go here, and then I go like that. Boom. All right. So now we need to do the same thing that we did here. Actually, we just need to pull off what index they are. So this is 2, 3. So we need these 3 right here. Copy. This one. This one's gonna go. This is a race type. Right? Yep. Gender. And then class. Alright, there we go. So now what we can do, we can take class, go to class, race, race, and gender, go to gender. So that's going to select from the database and set these all here. Instead of using this, like I said, we're taking all of this out. So now here, this was used to determine if it was a new character or not. So we need to redo this. Because as you see, it's trying to get stuff from the save game object, which that's all being taken out. We need this this is what spawns the character. So the first things first is it spawns the character. Then we need to determine, after it spawns the character, what we're going to do. So we need to remove this. We need to take our local variable that we made is new character. Put it here. So if it is a new character, we need to skip all of that. Let's look at what it's doing, because this obviously, if is new character is true, then we need to go down. If it's false, then it's not a new character. We need to go there, which goes into all that. So if it's not a new character, it's going to have a save file. If it is a new character, it needs to go and set up the class, all the class stuff. So let's see how this works so that we can make sure that we're getting it right. So it looks like we have it setting the character name. It's trying to create the save game object or use one that's already there. We obviously know that we don't want to use any of this stuff, because that's save file stuff that we're taking out. That can go here. Not going to use any of that. So that leaves us with this. Yep, skill tree. We just set up that, so that works. Class setups. We set up the class. First things first, go here. Do all this stuff. Yep. So the only thing that I am seeing that we're going to have an issue with is these two. So if you see player name, make, we need to see the server save, and alright, we're gonna have to find out where those go. So I see, looks like player name is going to two different places. So we need to just see which one it's going to. Alright. So it's going to one thing we're not even using. But this is what we need to make sure it gets to. So it needs to get to make server save, right? This character name right here. Yep. So if we look here, save data. So because we are, like, if it's not a new character, it's going to take that route and everything's going to be set fine. So now I'm trying to do the starting items, and I got to make sure all the information is passed correctly, since it's not going to be taking that route. Like, it's not going to go this line, it's going to go this line right here. So because it's taking this one, it never gets to that point down there. So let's look. Let's look where this needs to be dragged to. And it might not be here. But look, it's trying to pull from the current save, but we don't want that. So there we go, we just took care of that. And I don't see anything else in here. I'm gonna look through it right now, but I don't see anything else. Yeah, that's gonna pass on the name. It's just inventory stuff after that. So we should be good. That's all we had to take care of, was passing on the name. So now, what we did today, we'll go through what we did today. So before it was just loading the default inventory. And I was doing this just for testing before. But if you look, inventory data, when it creates the new character, I just pasted this all in here. So that it had a save file to load from. But now it's not going to use that. It's going to use this map name to determine if it's a new character because it hasn't been on a map yet. It'll read none, right? So when it's loading the character for the first time, it's going to do a query. It's going to pull the inventory, the map name, the class type, the gender type, the race type, right? Here we edit it so that it pulls the class type, gender type, so use map name to see if character is new. If this equals none, it passes on the boolean. Goes here, sets a local variable for that, if it's a new character or not. We took the integers, we converted the strings to integers. We used selects to figure out what option you chose when it created the character. We pass that all along. It's no more using the game instance, which is client-based. This is all pulled from the server and restored from the server. We had this line taking this path, but instead we moved it down to here. We checked if it's a new character. If it's a new character, it goes down. If it's not, then it takes that path that this used to take. It goes down here. We got rid of all of the save game object stuff that we're pulling out of the project, because this is how the project was designed. This is a template that I'm using, but I'm converting it into a database structure rather than a save game object structure. So all the save game object stuff is getting taken out of the project as I come across it. There's probably a little bit more other than this for like guild stuff that I need to get through, and party I still need to work on. So the only two things now after I fix this right here, and I'm gonna demonstrate it right now after I'm done explaining this, but the only two things mechanic wise that needs to be implemented and tested to make sure it works is party system and guild system. Between those, after those two are done, it is writing out all the quests, fixing the UI so it looks pretty, working on Guild Wars, and map design and character design. Items, questing materials, so like all that stuff will be worked on over the next 4 months, and it'll all be done. And this is the thing, is like I took two projects, a template and the DSS Lite template, right? I didn't even use the DSS template. I just took the code, the blueprint code port socket system and implemented it into this template. And that's how easy this game development is that you don't reinvent a wheel. Whoever's sitting here reinventing wheels is wasting people's time. Seriously. You do not reinvent wheels. You look at who has done what that you want done. You look at your options, you choose the best option, and you work with it. You do not, as a new developer, start from scratch, ever. If you open a blank project and you start building it out as a new developer, you're going to be called a milker from now on. Because all you are doing is trying to milk relevancy out of yourself. Because you chose the route of reinventing the wheel when it's already been done, bro. Nobody wants to sit here anymore and watch you reinvent the wheel. That is definitely the R word. What we want is we want you to go to Unreal, download the engine, look through their catalog of all the templates of all the different game types you could ever imagine from. See the features, look at the features. As soon as you find a template that is even slightly towards the game genre or whatever you want to build, download it. Look through it. If it looks like horrible, get a second opinion also. If the way it's coded looks horrible, don't use it. Use something that is more refined, that you can see the features, you can see that they're working, and then start stripping out all of the things that are bad in it, like save game object. If you're making a multiplayer game, don't use save game object. If you're making a single player game, fine. Your game will be hacked to shit. Who cares? It's a single player game. Let people hack it to shit. But if it's a multiplayer game, you do not want listen servers. Listen servers are for cults that want their little bubble to play with their friends only and want to seclude everybody else from being destroyed. See, that's the fun part about multiplayer, is you can get a group of people that want to work together just to destroy the other group, because the other group is crap. They think they can make video games, but they can't. They're using Godot. They're using Unity. We need a team of people that want to destroy people that want to use those engines. Make them look like a joke. That's the teams we need to build. So we're going to run this and test it. I don't know if it's going to work first try, but it looks like it will. So let's go. Let's start putting these other game devs to shame. Burst their little cult bubbles that they got going on. Oh, it's all about the vibe. Don't hurt anybody's feelings. That's over. That's done with. If anybody is caught doing a little vibe crap, you're going to be exposed. You're going to be laughed at. Out of the industry. You either suck it up or don't be a part of it no more. We're done with you. All of you. Your little feelings get hurt. No one cares. Cry me a river. So we're going to set up the target. Compile the server first. You guys are not going to be getting away with this much longer. After pirate software was gone, it's on now. We're taking back this industry. And whoever's coming with me, coming with Unreal Engine, is going to succeed. All you else, you're gone. Laughed out of the industry. Just because you make a game with Unity. Just because you make a game with Unity. Your game will be shunned. Just because you make a game with Godot, your game will be shunned. Associate with crappy people, raid into crappy people's communities, building your little cult, you will be shunned. Everybody that wants to operate this way will be laughed out of the industry. Mark my words. I've been at this for 3 years. I got 10 more to go. Let's see if you stick around for 10 more years while you get laughed at. I got nothing to lose. I have the world to gain. There's a lot of people in this world that's going to learn respect for people that actually have talent, have skill. I deal with enough people in my life that want to just talk shit. Have nothing going for them in their life. Just want to mooch off other people all the time. You're either building shit together or you can get the fuck out. Deal with your fucking bullshit. Be freaking productive or get the fuck out. Alright, so we're gonna try to create a new character right now. Alright, we're gonna delete this one. We're gonna do Matt. We're gonna do this one. King Matt. You guys don't want that to happen, trust me. I will clean all of you up. None of you will be streamers ever again in your life. We got a warrior. And look there. So you noticed how earlier in the stream the inventory was filled with items and stuff. This is the starter gear for a warrior, right? So let's close that. The things I want to get done keep getting accomplished. The things you guys want to get done just keeps people in limbo, not excelling in life, not going anywhere, not changing. Just want to keep everything the fucking same. So we're going to pick Ranger for this one. And look at that. Started with the bow. Look at this. So I think it is still getting the skill tree from the warrior. So that is something we will fix next time. Because I think even if I do the mage, we'll do the mage now. You see that it started with a bow. So the bow, the equipment worked, all the gear worked, attributes worked. So all that stuff worked. But the skill tree, I don't think, because there's supposed to be I think, an arrow skill somewhere here. This all looks like it's still the warriors stuff. So let's see if it's easy to fix that real quick. So we have this right here. Is that because get skill tree component? So this is going to be skill tree component. Interface. ARPG controller interface. So let me hide the screen real quick because I have to pull that up. Alright, doesn't look like there's anything to worry about. Okay. So let's look at the interface here. So if we look back here, that was get skill tree component. Type skill. Get skill tree component. It gets the component. So we're going to have to open that. See on save loaded. See, it has to do with the unloading the save. Let's see, initialize. It's passing on the class. It's either we're not saving the correct class, which we started with a bow. And we set this variable here. So if it was class 1, so it is showing up as class 2. So the only other place that I think it would be wrong is here. But we got the bow, so we know the class is right. Because if we go back here, we look at the equipment, See, class setup. So it inventory starting items for that class goes here. After that, goes down, it gets class settings. So all the equipment for primary and all that got set up correctly from this class settings. So we know this is getting set right. The stats are getting set right. All that, everything that's being pulled from the class settings is being set right. It's this right here. And that's the thing, it's setting in this component, it's setting what class this is supposed to be. But this already initialized. When the characters spawned. I don't know. Let's try to load up a mage or something and see if it's any different. But yeah, it's supposed to have a different skill tree for mage too. So yeah, we got the ranger. And there's something like it's missing the other one because there was two characters. And I got signed out on AWS. I'm not logging back in right now. But let's go here. We'll make a mage. So apparently mages don't start with any weapon. Not yet, at least. But yeah, it's still the warrior. So we need to figure out how that component works, the skill tree component. And it spawns with the controller. So when you open, it just gets the component, so it's not setting anything there. So it's gonna have to do with, like, this is when it gets initialized. Well, what calls this? Obviously, it's nothing here, but I can see it's called there, which that's test. Here, it's doing it from the character preview. Like, that's the thing, is like initialize. What is it initializing? We want the initialize for here. And it's gonna have, see, it's getting all these different initializes when we just wanted this one. And the way we'll know that we found the right one is it's gonna have player class. Right here. So this player class, if you look at it, it's default class 1. So what we want to do is we want to do this right here. Because this is getting called before this is set. So all we need to do, we need to copy this. We need to go back to here. We need to go into here. And at the beginning, when all this is set, you need to paste that. Go here. Right? And then take the player class and go here. So before I leave, let's recompile and see if it works. Then I don't have to worry about it when I come back, and all of the starter stuff will be done. Now that this is finished, I could probably get back to party and guild. We can get that taken care of. Then after that's taken care of, we're going to be building our game out. Our game is going to get finished before, like I said, 2 weeks ago, I merged these projects together. And by December, I'm going to have a full, complete MMORPG. And these people that have been working on a single player game for 3 years are still not done. When I've been waiting for them to just finish their crap. So that they could start supporting people that deserve the support. Instead, they're just working on their single player game that's going to go nowhere and not directing the support anywhere it should go. You have to make a game that's going to sustain your studio. You can't sit here making games that are going to go nowhere and wasting everybody's time. A lot of it is because you guys do not just want to make decisions. You don't want to say, okay, these are the bad people, these are the good people. You just don't want to do that. You want to include everybody, and that's just not going to happen. You're going to be excluded because you chose to include everybody. That's what's going to happen. Then you're going to have to find a new career. You won't be accepted in game dev no more because I've kept a very good list of all the people that you associate with. We've allowed you to run amok for way too long in this industry. Back in the closet. No more are people going to sit around and watch you waste months of their time on pipe dreams that will never come to reality. You guys perpetuate and cause 99% of the mental illness that is on these platforms with the stuff that you associate with and the things that come out of your mouth. Anybody that says they don't want to bring politics into game dev, big red flag. Steer clear of those people. They stand for nothing. Bunch of time wasters. Pathetic. You will be required to be political so that we know where you stand. If you want to stand with the devil, go stand with the devil. You won't be allowed near any of our groups at all. You're either with him or you're against him, and it's clear who's with him and who's not. People that stand for nothing is not. I'm like a one-man army over here. I keep creating warriors named Ranger. Tells you how much I need to go. So let's hit the Ranger. Does this work? If not, at least I tried. Alright. It does not. Like I said, it's supposed to have Ranger skills. All I see is warrior skills. So we can go look at it, but I'm not changing anything. Not tonight. So we know, like this has to be right. Like I said, because pulling the right class setup. Like it's getting the right gear. It wouldn't it wouldn't pull the right gear if this wasn't right. So it's still, so all of this is getting pulled from the correct class. So we know the class is right because then it pulls the correct right class settings and gets the right gear. There's something. Something with this that isn't replicating right. Set skills. Why aren't you getting the correct class? We set the correct class. We got skill tree component. What is this? Tree widget. So let's at least look at the tree widget. Not there. Was it on the controller? So yeah, looks like it would be this. And then whatever this is. So if we go here, class, so here we have, now we could probably look at it. So look, if it's an archer, it's supposed to have that. If it's a mage, it's supposed to have that. So next time I get into this, that's what we'll work on. We'll get the skill tree loading for the right class. See, look at this. Class tree widget. Class. So it's supposed to get it from here. Maybe we didn't look through all of these. Create skill trees. That's skill tree class 3. That's the one we want. Hmm. So maybe this isn't set when it goes through here. So maybe that's the issue, is that when it's passing through this one, the controller owner isn't set. That's the only thing I think it would be, is that it's initializing all of this. The actor object reference, player controller object reference. So that reference is probably not set. That's why it fails when it tries to initialize that. Let's find out where it's being called. Right here. So so here's the original one, right? So let's find out when that is called. Because you got a lot of them. There's this one. There's that one. That one. This one. And this one. So if you see this one isn't used, it never takes this path. It always, yeah, it's because of this thing we want to take out. Let's go back here. Yep. See, when the inventory component is created, we're getting to here, right? And we're going here, and it's being called. And that is before we get to the server load character stuff. So it hasn't even pulled the right class. Because if you look, set. Look, it's setting all this from here, but we're not even using that. So it's setting this class. And then it's calling this. And you would think that, here, let's do this, copy. Yeah, and this is like on the client, because I don't think that's on the server, because this is calling. Yeah, let's run on server. So this is like the client, right? So we'd almost have to, yeah, we need to take this out first, and then we can call that somewhere else. We can't call it right there because we haven't retrieved the class yet. Like I said, we're not going to be using this, and that's why it's getting the wrong class here. But by the time it makes it through all there, once it makes it through here, then it has the right class set. So the only thing I can think of is knowing that this is on the client, right? Only thing I can think of is, okay, so I'm going to copy this. I'm going to move this here and just move this up. I'm going to say moved to run on owning client after server so if we copy this, we look at it, right? Right? It's a custom event. It's not on server, it's nothing. It's setting it up on the client, right? So what happens? So what we have to do, we have to go here. We have to go here. Right? And watch. We go here. we go output. Come on. Output. Let's just remove one of them for now, because we only need the class. I mean, we'll probably need more later. We'll do class, right? So see right here. So when all of this is done, right? Where is it done? So it finishes here. It goes then to finish all that. And after that, it's done. I don't see anything. Oh, yeah. There's a then. Look, return right here. So there's already a return. We don't need this one. So now we can return the class, right? Let's go up here and make sure. Got player class. Up here, player class. So we're going to return the player class. Player class. Get it? So let's edit this. What is it? Player class. What is it going to be? So that's still on. That is, yeah, that is still on the server. If you look here, we're still on the server. So execute on server. So it's going to go through here and it's going to run this on the server, but it's going to output us the the class. So what we have to do is we have to do client set class, right? Watch. So custom event client set class. And we're going to go here and we're going to go run on owning client. And we're going to add a variable. All right. So we're going to do authority. I guess we don't have to. Like if we look here, the graph. Oh, I guess it's lobby. We look how this works. I guess we can't do that. Let's see, we have a execute on owning client. I guess that's not going to work on here. See, it won't let me paste it here. Yeah. So we're just going to assume that this works. And we're going to have to test it. Move this here. Now we're going to move this down over here. We're going to see if this works. So now that we're back on the owning client, let's do let's take this out. This is only going to one. I don't like the pin. This is going here. We'll keep it here because we're gonna set it anyways. We'll just keep it there. But we need to set that. So I think we set player class there. We go into here. It's getting player class. So we just need to set the player class here. And then initialize it. Alright, so if that doesn't work, then I'll have to figure it out later. I got one more compile left in me. Especially when I had to sit here and do all this passing, getting from the database the class, passing it from here, because we passed it in here. But after we do all the loading of the inventory items, pass it into here. Because this was before all this happened. That was the issue. But now we moved it to where after it's done loading all of that, it passes the class along, sets the class, which will do that for race and gender too. So once I see that this works, then I'll know that I have to do that for the rest, because like I said, we have to take this all out. So once that's all out, whatever this is affecting has to be done after server stuff. So let's see if it works. Since we went through that much digging just to figure it out. Alright, servers are up, just waiting for the client. We'll see if it works. Alright, so we got our ranger. This is all we care about for now. There we go. So that worked for the ranger. Now let's exit and we'll try mage. Of course. Alright, create a new character. We're gonna do mage. This is a mage. Alright, we got a mage. We hit that. Yep, we got the mage skill tree now. So that's fixed. Didn't think I was gonna get to it, but I did. Looks like there's still an issue with it, which is fine. It's just more of taking out this stuff right here. So you see where set current class on the jig. Basically, we have to take that out. We have to do the same thing. We have to drag it over here. And that goes before. Gotta go make sure there's nothing else. Yeah, there's nothing else. We took all that out. We fixed that. It would be right here. That we fixed it. Like, I really don't want to come back to this. That's why I'm doing this. When I come back, I want to fix the character select screen because it looks like even even when I add a new character, it's only loading. When I log back in, it's only loading like the last in the list or something like that. It's not loading all the characters. It's adding them when you create just fine, but when you log in, it's not loading the list entirely. I have to look at the database and stuff like that to fix that. Alright, so this was my first YouTube live, which it looks like it went pretty well. Um, I know that on Kick and on Twitch, my VODs will be deleted. So at least YouTube will preserve the ranting I did about the industry, and that will be preserved for people to watch at any time. Because it's been ridiculous for the past 3 years. So hopefully people will listen, and hopefully things will change. This whole don't hurt our feelings, this whole keep politics out of video games, gotta stop. You shoved all of your bullcrap in our face for years, since I've been in the industry. So don't tell me keep politics out. That is so manipulative when you shove your politics in everything and want to say that you don't. That is ridiculous. We're going to do a culture shift. You'll be out of the new culture. Non-existent. Alright, we should be able to add to our skills now. Hopefully. Not, it's something else. Yeah, looks like it's something else. Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Oh, I can. Okay, so I gotta be level 2. Alright, so everything's working. Good. Alright, skill tree done. We're gonna redesign all of this and all the skills and everything. This is just the template. So, what the heck was that? You raided me right when I was about to go, man. I'm tired. Thank you for the follow. Moodwood Games, 15 raid. Very nice. Good to see. Thank you for the follow, guys. What's up, Cam? All right. So I guess I gotta show you guys. I'm working on a multiplayer game. I just got skill tree working because it was only loading warriors, so now it's loading different classes and whatnot. We got save game is working. Loads all your stuff and whatnot, your quests, your attributes. So let's look at this. I'm going to close it and reopen it. That was awesome. Thank you. So let me load up another client so I can show you. Because I haven't done the Ranger yet, so we'll do the Ranger. So this is the game I'm making. If you want to see what it's going to look like while I do this, that's kind of what I'm going for. So like a top-down 2D characters in a 3D environment, pretty much. So it's not going to look like this. I'm going to merge everything from that project over to this one. Right, so we're going to create a new character, and this is all saving, like when you create, it's saving it to AWS database. So everything is taken away from the save game object. It's not using that anymore. It's using AWS database, DynamoDB. So we're going to do Ranger. Create it. Adds it to the list. Thank you. Yeah, eventually what I want to do here is the characters that I make for the game, I want to have like where you can kind of customize them and whatnot, and it shows you what the character looks like. So this needs a lot of the UI work needs to be done, but I want to get all the mechanics working. So let's load this in. The next thing I'm going to work on next is party and guild, now that I got all this working. So there you go. So we have a archer skill tree now. Very cool. That's what I was working on, trying to get that working. But if you look in my about section, you will see all the plugins that I use, the server system I use. So if you guys wanted to create this type of video game, you could download Unreal Engine, download Unreal Engine Source. I'm using UE4 2 point something. So like the newest UE4. I think it's 2.7. What did it say on here? Let's see. Yeah, 4.27.2 is what I'm using. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I had to learn the server system, which is DSS Lite. Then I had to learn the login system, which is Cognito with AWS. Then I had to learn GraphQL and DynamoDB so I can edit tables, delete tables, mutate tables. And then just the most recent thing that I learned was JSON. So what I do is I take all the structures. Let's see. Got it right here. So what I do is I create the JSON object with all of the data from the database, right? And then I use fields. So you got the JSON object, and I pull the fields for like int, dex, strength, and all that. And then I'm just basically recreating the structures from the JSON data that I pulled from the server. If you look through here, it was a lot of work doing this because there's a lot of things that need to be restored, like attack speed, accuracy, like all that. This is your inventory item. So writing this code that goes through like all the inventory items in your bag to restore everything back to what it was. Like I had to write all this from scratch and I never did it before. So I imagine any games that I make after this is going to be a lot easier because I've gone through restoring this much data for a character. It is insane. These are like all your equipment. So each one of those are your equipment. And it goes down here. And it's just pulling all these fields from the JSON object and then running through these loops and whatnot to restore everything. Like it's restoring quests. It's restoring like status effects. So like if you get like poisoned and then you log off and then you log back in, it restores how much time is left on the effect. So you can't get out of being poisoned. But then it, you know, after it restores all that, it just loads it all onto the client. So I'm using, if you see here, I'm using, I don't know if you can see it because of the follow, but there you go. It says Action RPG Starter System. So if you look on the Unreal Marketplace, you'll see that project there. And I'm basically just ripping it apart, taking what I need, changing the save game object to use database instead, which has been a lot of work. But it's best to start from something that is fully done and has all the mechanics that you need, and then just go through it, start learning the template, change all the things that you need, keep doing it till everything works. And I'd say 2 weeks ago is when I merged that template with my with DSS Lite. So from 2 weeks, I've been able to, because I've been doing this for 3 years, trying to get it to work. I've learned this template inside and out pretty much, and I can find myself around the whole template. And it is a really well done RPG template if you want to make an RPG game. but it was built for listen servers, so like hosting the server at your house. I have converted it into a dedicated server that I can host on like Google Cloud and whatnot. And it's been a great experience. I'm happy what it's going to turn into. I don't know if any of you guys played Ragnarok Online, but Ragnarok Online is my inspiration. It's the game I played for 10 years. I didn't like how their company was handling everything. They had to license the game from Korea, so anytime there was an update or an update needed, they had to wait on Korea to, they had to buy the updates for one, and sometimes they didn't want to buy important updates. There became like duplication bugs in their game where people could dupe items. It destroyed the in-game economy. So since that I deal with that for 10 years, I was like, I'm gonna make the game the way I want to, and I'm gonna have full control over it. It's gonna be based in the United States of America. I don't have to pay for updates. I can hire people to create updates. So it's gonna be like me reliving that 10-year experience, but in something I'm have control over. So I'm really excited to be this far and having all these systems put together, working together to where I'd say in a month or so, I will be just on designing the levels, the graphics, the quests, making everything fun. That's a big thing about games is making them fun. And I tell you what, I played Ragnarok for 10 years. I know what is fun in that game. So I know a lot of other people will have fun. I've experienced partying with people, helping people level their characters, guild wars, attacking castles, taking over castles, a lot of teamwork. So there's so much to this game that I know is going to be good, and I do not have to really question if it's going to be good. I just have to finish the game. Thank you for being proud of me. I needed that. I don't have many people that tell me that. A lot of people in my life just goes in one ear and out the other. Because I mean, they don't make games. They don't know what goes into it. But I know a lot of you guys do, so I appreciate that. I know that you were streaming. I was about to go, and I know how it is when you raid other people. You've been already working hard, so I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to say thank you for the raid, and I'm going to run off myself. Thank you, and I will. You guys will see a lot of me now that I got everything I need working. I can now design and have a lot of fun doing that. So I'll be on a lot, guys. Have a good one.